into the light, into the light. I'll take the burden, I'll take the weight from all the memories you can't erase. I'll be your guide. Oh yeah. You're longing for a union you can't explain. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. And every day I affirm and pray that I'm blessed with everything I have. I release my fear, 'cause it's all so clear. I am held, I am loved, I am safe. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I am well, I am well, I am well. And now I see what my life can be when I trust in the process and have faith. And now I know when I just let go that I have all I'll ever need. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I am well, I am well, I am well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. I am well, I am well. All is well, all is well. I am well. Ooh-wee.
A time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know that the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand.
Well, good morning, HDCSL community. I am Reverend Doug. And while it may look like I'm sitting in our sanctuary, I'm actually not. I'm sitting at home in my studio with a green screen behind me with a beautiful picture that Brandy took of our sanctuary on Friday. But I hope you feel right at home. Let's start our service with some treatment. So I'm going to put on some music here. There we go. In fact, quiet that down a little bit. It was a little too loud here. I invite us all to simply just take a breath. There's been a lot of need for breathing this week. It's been a momentous week in our country and in our world, and not necessarily a bad thing. People are paying attention to their health and the health of others in a completely new and, for me, very inspiring way. So I invite us all to simply just take a breath. Take a breath. And let's know this truth together. That there is in fact one life. And that life is divine. That life is God. And God shows up in so many ways as our very life itself, in the actions of peace, in the thoughts of love, in community, in the hearts and minds of each and every individualized human divine being on this plane of consciousness. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now, and the life of each of us in this spiritual community. And wherever my voice may be heard and my image may be being seen today. I simply bless our day. I bless our time together. I bless the technology that allows us to be together even though we must shelter in place right now for the health and safety of all. And I simply know that this world that we live in, this human, divine, biological, and chemical entity we call life on planet Earth, is finding its balance, that we ourselves are finding balance between what we must do, what we can do, what we should do, and who we are. So, knowing that all is well, and in great love and gratitude, I release my word into the action of divine law as a blessing for all of us. I let it be and I let it go, as together we affirm this blessing, and so it is. So it is. So, well, good morning and welcome to the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living virtual service. And we don't really have an awful lot of announcements this morning. Lori is our practitioner today, and she is sheltering in place, and she is holding the high watch for our service and for all of us. And let's see, yesterday our grounds and maintenance organization got together and did the floors in the social hall. Frank St. Clair, Clay Baylor, Richard Fox, Danny Brown, Jamie's son Danny Brown did that. So thank you guys for taking care of that. You know, it's funny. I've been reading quite a bit of what have I been reading? Science of Mind magazine, and Science of Mind magazine had a great piece on balance, and I'm going to play that piece right now. Here it is, right here, and it said, "The universe is forever restoring itself to perfect balance, so that when the world looks chaotic, know that the universe is on it. The piping plover, a small shorebird, provides a perfect example. Plovers like to nest in open, sandy areas away from people and vegetation. Unfortunately, humans like open, sandy areas too. And over the last century, commercial, residential, and recreational use of the plover's habitat has caused a reduction in their population to just 8,000 birds, putting them on the endangered species list in some areas and the threatened species list in other areas. The universe is correcting the situation. While Hurricane Sandy devastated people's dwellings in coastal areas in the eastern United States, it created the perfect home for the plovers. The storm flooded Fire Island, a barrier island off of southern Long Island, destroying the vegetation and leaving deposits of sand behind that created the ideal sand flats for plover nests. As a result, suitable nesting areas increased 50% and the plover population grew by 93 birds. The development began at a time when people were ignorant of the impact they would have on these birds by building close to the coastline. Today, appreciation and love for the beauty and rarity of the birds is bringing about change. People are more aware now of caring for the environment, helping the universe restore balance. This is a reminder to me that when life looks out of whack, I can choose to see through the appearance to the truth that the universe is at work, reestablishing order. Reestablishing order. And, you know, this week, while things look out of whack, we can also know that the universe is in good hands, and that while our busy lives may seem completely turned upside down, in the spiritual sense, all is well. So I wanted us to talk about a little bit of that stuff before we did our promises and go to the beginning of our service. But let's do that now. Let's all take a look. Let's say Dr. Holmes's promises, and today let's really apply them to what's been going on around us and with us. And here we go. I keep the promise that I have made myself to affirm in this moment that I am abundant, healthy, strong, and happy. I keep the intention to daily speak this truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of life, truth, power, and action. I whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I assure my soul. So let's go ahead and assure our souls now the way that we often do by singing my song, I Remember Who I Am. Let me turn the microphone down just a little bit. It's like being in the cockpit of a jet here with all the controls I have to worry about. But I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. Okay, let's sing this together. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. We are life. We are life. We are light. We are love. We are joy, we are peace, we are wisdom, and beautiful harmony. We are pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit, yes, who we are. His pure spirit, one last time. Oh, who we are. His pure spirit. Great. Let's now move on to our community affirmation, and let's remember that this was originally published in Science of Mind magazine in the fall of 1927. Dr. Holmes's Declaration of Principle, published as What We Believe. Let's take a look. I believe in one power, one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe that spirit expresses through me and is the unity of all life. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe that all thought is creative, and that how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. Yes. So, I just want to thank you all for supporting the center, for joining us today, for all of the responses that I've gotten to our decision to go virtual for the next couple of weeks, and all of the positive responses I got in the last 2 days to our automated calling system, which everybody seems to be enjoying. If you are watching right now and you are part of our community or want to be part of our community and you have not yet gotten any calls from us, you may not be on our automated calling system. Don't hesitate to text me or call me. I don't have it to flash up on the screen, but it's, write it down, 661-313-6044. I'll put it on the screen. Here. 661-313-6044. I can't do that because it's on a piece of green paper, so I can't. It's on a piece of green paper. But 661-313-6044. That's my cell phone. So go ahead and text me your number if you want to be added to our call list, or call the office and tell them in the office, or leave that. I think it's time for us to remind ourselves that we honor all of the spiritual paths. So let's go ahead and do the flames of faith in our affirmation for today. First of all, our affirmation for today is, I invoke the power of the divine feminine in my life right now. So let's say that together. I invoke the power of the divine feminine in my life right now. And let's do it one more time. I invoke the power of the divine feminine in my life now. And I love it when we light the flames of faith. I'm not actually going to light any candles, but I'm going to show all the artwork that we usually show for the flames of faith. So we perform this ceremony on Sundays to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths and all beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The unity candle represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony, equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We honor the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, honoring all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome in our spiritual community. And as we view the healing candle, let's all please put silently into the light the names of loved ones, knowing that they have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. And, for me, that also means everybody, because we're all being affected by this pandemic in one way or another. We're all being affected by the pandemic, and the question is, will we react to it with fear, or will we react to it in faith? As I said on my live video the other evening, we don't deny that we are in a world with other biological microorganisms and biological organisms. If you get bit by a dog, you don't say there's no such thing as a dog and I didn't get bit. This pandemic is a very real concern for all of us, and we should be concerned. That means paying attention. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be in fear or in panic. And so let's do some treatment work right now. And I've got this great piano piece I want to play for you guys. So there it is. Yes. I invite you all to join me in prayer. Let's take a moment to breathe. Let's simply know that right where we are, God is. There is no place in this universal experience where God is not. There is no place within our human biological entity bodies where God is not. God surrounds us and indwells us, is the very fabric of our physical and spiritual life. And so I know right now for each one of us that there is, in fact, one life, only one thing going on. Not God and anything, but God as everything. There is one life. That life is divine. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now, and the life of each of us, members and friends of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, and our family, our friends, our community, our state of California, the United States of America, and this global experience we call Earth. In some ways, through the coronavirus, we are united in a more conscious way than we've been for a long time. We are all consciously thinking about our health, thinking about our wellness, thinking about our well-being, and that conscious impression of the law of divine creativity with our thoughts of good, of health, of wellness, that constant reminding ourselves to wash our hands, to be mindful of everyone's physical space, to cough into our arms or do anything that we can do to protect ourselves and others, that is impressing not an idea of fear in the divine, but an idea of health in the divine, an idea of mindful health. And so right now I just simply celebrate and accept that idea of mindful health for each and every one of us, knowing that the attention that we pay to our spiritual and physical well-being is manifesting as spiritual and physical well-being right now in this moment without delay, and that there is nothing that can keep this experience of spiritual and physical well-being from us. The only thing more powerful than God's ability to create that for us is our ability to deny it. And right now I simply speak a word of open at the top consciousness that we accept our health, we accept the health of others, we accept the health of our nation and our world right now in this moment as a truthful fact in the life of humanity. And knowing that all is well, I release this word gratefully and lovingly into that magnificently impersonal law, which is also so magnificently mechanically accurate to our thought and belief. Knowing that all is well, I release it into the action of law, I let it be, and I let it go as as together we affirm. And so it is. And so it is. Wow, that was supposed to fade out, not just stop. Isn't that interesting? Learning all the little things about putting on this service this morning. So, for special music today, I thought it would be nice for us to all be reminded that we're part of a much larger spiritual community. So I have this special piece of music for you this morning. Here we go.
In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best until we all are free. Living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. Come on, y'all. In the name of love. 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 When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing
So how was that? Hey, do me a favor, somebody. I'm looking at the chat. Somebody let me know how the sound is out there, just so I can make sure that I'm getting good feedback on everything. So, Chrissy says that was awesome, and Mary Franklin said, "How lovely to see so many of our larger community in the name of love." Yes. And Brenda said, when showing love to everyone, we can create more loving people. Exactly right. I wanted us, because of this whole kind of sheltering in place thing. Oh, Christy says sound is great. Okay, good. Thanks. Steve Colucci says sound is good. And Allie said, love that music video. And Fred Wilbanks, who's our regular sound guy, says sound is good. And Eleanor says, wow. And okay. Sound is good in Victorville. Okay, good. So Clay Reynolds said sounds cool, good, cool beans. Monica said sound is good. Mary said sound is good, but my thing is buffering and pausing a bit. Okay, well, I can't do anything about that, Mary, so it's time for treatment for your internet connection. Now that we're being so strongly urged to isolate ourselves to help curtail the spread of the coronavirus, I thought it, would be nice to play that video and remind us that we're all in part of a much larger community, not just our HDCSL community, but a larger spiritual community around the globe. I see that people are having buffering issues, and I'm assuming that YouTube may be overwhelmed this morning with the number of new streams that are going on. So we'll do our best. This month, of course, our theme is honoring the divine feminine in all. And this week, our theme is the law as womb and the law as the divine feminine creative medium. And I personally think that spiritual law, our soul, is a really fascinating topic. Rumi wrote that the soul of the soul of the soul of the universe is love. The soul of the universe is love. But in our teaching, the science of mind, we also equate the law of cause and effect with the soul of the universe. So the soul of the universe is love and law, and the law of cause and effect. And what I'm talking about is that aspect of the divine that receives our thoughts, that place in universal mind, in God, where the creative process begins to take action and where our thoughts are nurtured, birthed into form and experience. And in our culture, assertiveness is often portrayed as being stronger, and being receptive is thought of as like being weak, being a weakness. But in reality, it's never an either/or situation. Both assertiveness and receptivity play an important role in our balance of our creative process as human and divine beings. I mean, take a look at all the different aspects here of being a well-balanced entity. On the left side, we have receptive, passive, contractive, intuitive, inward. And then on the masculine energy, we have projective, active, giving, expansive, outward. And then of course, those divide up into the natural feminine, unconditional love, stillness, understanding, flow, and all of those. And a lot of the things that we consider to be natural, part of the natural masculine part of our energy, confidence, inner strength, responsibility. And of course, if you look at the bottom of the list, there's the inverse of those, wounded feminine, victim, powerless, weakness, manipulation, wounded masculine, perpetrator, abuse of power, dominance, aggression, and remember, we're not talking about our gender as human beings at all. We're talking about the different aspects of energy, and that energy is expressing itself through and as each of us. And even though I think many of us may discover that we spend more time in the active modes of being and not as much time as we could or wish to in the receptive modes of being, there's this great book. It's The Power of Receiving, a Revolutionary Approach to Giving Yourself the Life That You Want and Deserve. It's by Amanda Owens. And she lists some things that we can all do consciously, allowing, Noticing is great. Including, appreciating, that's so powerful. Listening, observing, embracing, welcoming, accepting, hearing, and watching, among others. Imagine with me what might change in our life if we brought more balance between the active and receptive states of our own mind. And at this time, for the rest of March, many of us have the opportunity with this sheltering in place, or working from home, or going out just to do the barest minimum of shopping and stuff. We have an opportunity. It's almost like we talked about a couple of months back in December about the winter solstice, when the earth kind of quiets down to the deadest part of the winter, and that's a great time for reflection. I think now might also be a great time for reflection for us. In our lives, this may be an opportunity for us to back off from trying, back off from strategizing or planning, and instead embrace the powerful, receptive nature of the divine feminine that's already a part of us. And it's possible that we could do it in a completely new and more powerfully intentional way. It's possible. Our founder, Dr. Holmes, said, "The soul has been called the womb of nature and the Holy Mother because it is receptive to the Spirit, and it is impregnated with divine ideas." It is impregnated with divine ideas. The law of cause and effect really is very much like a womb. We impress upon the law of cause and effect our ideas, our embodied ideas, and like a fertile egg that's implanted by nature in the womb, the law receives our ideas and our beliefs and begins to give life to them, begins to gestate them, begins to nurture them. Our part is to hold the beliefs and ideas with clarity in our minds. We treat and we get clear on the picture of what we desire to manifest and create in our lives. We get clear on the relationship, we get clear on the creativity, we get clear on the work situation, we get clear on the consciousness of a new form of transportation. We get clear and we keep treating. We don't try and muscle those thoughts, hold those thoughts, but Dr. Holmes tells us that we pray until we manifest. We pray until we manifest. So we keep those pictures of what we want, desire, require to manifest in our treatment work, and the law of cause and effect, like a womb, simply receives our fertile ideas, and once we commit ourselves to something, we impregnate the law, and the law does the rest. Like a divine mother, it receives our embodied idea, and it impersonally creates whatever we have the consciousness of. Because the law, you hear me say this all the time, the law is both mechanically accurate on one side and lovingly impersonal on the other side. The law has those two aspects of the way that it works: mechanically accurate to our thinking, lovingly impersonal, and that impersonality means that it doesn't care what it is that we think. The creative energy of the divine feminine has nothing to do with gender, it has nothing to do with our physical body, but it is about being open to the receptive and the creative givingness of life itself. And our job is to do our best to surrender and to trust that the law of life will manifest whatever we're willing to embody with our whole consciousness. So, of course, this week, as the state of California, strongly asked us not to congregate, where are you guys? I'm sitting here in a completely empty room. Where are you? Because the state of California asked us not to congregate. When this happened, and you heard that we were going to not have services, or you heard that we're not going to have, we're going to have virtual services, we're going to have virtual classes, where did your mind go? Did your mind go to fear? Did your mind go, on the listserv, the minister's listserv, and on Facebook, a lot of people were saying, how dare you not have service? We're religious scientists, don't give in to that fear. I say that's spiritual arrogance. We don't deny the physicality of our world. Like I've said before, if you get bit by a dog, you don't say there's no such thing as a dog and I didn't get bit. We still do our prayer work, our treatment work, to change not the facts of our life, but to change our relationship to the facts of our life. So this pandemic of the coronavirus is a fact of our life. But where will your mind go? Does it go to fear? Does it go to Costco to buy more toilet paper? Does it? Do you participate in a fear-based? What did you start to consciously or unconsciously impregnate your mind with? Did you go to panic? Did you go to fear? Let's take a look at this little video.
John? John?
What's up?
Are you John?
Yeah, who sent you?
Anthony.
What's the password?
Find your beach?
All right, did he tell you how much?
Yeah.
See it. All right, get the hell out of here. You didn't see me.
Did you go meet a Charmin dealer on the street? Fred said Charmin started the coronavirus. Did you go to fear, or did you recognize that it's smart and it's prudent to protect your body temple by being more and more mindful and careful? If any one of you got sick because I didn't take these precautions, I would not be a good leader. And we have to protect the most vulnerable among us by recognizing that anybody could be a carrier and infect somebody else. It's just science. Brandy says, I've used a healing candle from my home. What is it? What did you say, Brandy? She texted me. She says, I have used a healing candle from the center at my home, and I actually lit it. Okay, that's good. And okay. Oh, and Joanne's telling me, I did not hear Fred Wilbanks' name. Fred was on Frank's crew to strip and wax the floors. Okay, well, thank you, Fred, and thank you, Joanne, for letting me know that I missed that name. I appreciate that. Okay, I am back. It's funny that YouTube didn't like me showing Stephen Colbert because I got it off of YouTube. But okay, all right, so we live, we learn. That's cool. No big deal. Yes, we're back. We are back. So hopefully people will log back in. What Dr. Sanjay Gupta was saying, that was, we have a spiritual and yeah, Steve, we're back. Okay, we're back. So, yes, we are back. Cool beans. All right, so we won't show Colbert moving forward. What we're talking about is that we have a spiritual and biological responsibility for each other. If I don't care about the behaviors for myself, I need to care about those behaviors for you. Right? One of the guys who's in the NBA, his name is Zion Williamson. He is personally covering the salaries of the workers at the arena where the Pelicans play for 30 days out of his own pocket. The people of New Orleans have been, he says, the people of New Orleans have been incredibly welcoming and supportive since I was drafted by the Pelicans last June, and some of the most special people I have met are those who work at Smoothie King Center. He says, my mother has always set an example for me about being respectful for others and being grateful for what we have, and so today I'm pledging to cover the salaries for all of those Smoothie King Center workers for the next 30 days. This is a small way for me to express my support and appreciation for these wonderful people who have been so great to me and my teammates, and hopefully we can all join together to relieve some of the stress and hardship caused by this national health crisis. So I think we're back. Is everybody back online? People are saying, what happened? I'll say, look, log back in. And I'll say to Fred, also log back in. No, we didn't run out of time. YouTube apparently took exception to my showing The Late Show, even though I got it off of there. So no worries. So we just won't do that one again. So this woman, Cameron Bellum, from Seattle, Washington, she's a mom of 2 young boys, and after finishing her PhD in Russian literature, she traded the academic life for the contemplative life. Well, she says as contemplative as chasing 2 small kids can be. She says she's a great lover of spirituality and strong black coffee, and her deepest joys are reading, writing, and finding new ways to pray. And so she wrote this prayer for the pandemic. It looks like this. And it resonated with so many people, and I wanted to read it for you today. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health and making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel our trips remember those that have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us find ways to be loving, to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbors. Amen. So, let's see how many people are back now. Only 12 came back. So, all right, well, we won't, hopefully more people will log back in. This week, our call to action is to stop trying or strategizing or planning from fear or panic, and simply know that the receptive power of the divine feminine is at work manifesting our highest good. And I know that it takes strength to be still and know, but in the stillness of what seems like inaction, we can tap into Spirit's very real power. The same thing that makes the grass grow is the thing itself that translates our thoughts into actions and experience. So remember, God in us, as us, is us. And I do have a backronym for us this week, and the backronym is WOMB. The wisdom of the one mind is my blessing. The wisdom of the one mind is my blessing. And our affirmation for the week is, I invoke the power of the divine feminine in my life right now. Right. So, and this year, of course, we're talking about all year long our 2020 vision, One Life in Focus. And Dr. Holmes reminds us that our relationship is perfect God, perfect human, perfect being. Perfect God, perfect human, perfect being. And I just want to say, please continue to support the center financially while we're virtual. Our work doesn't stop just because we're meeting online right now. Of course, you can use the Give Plus mobile app to give. And you can also go to our website. And of course, you can use snail mail to send your tithe in. Mailing address is High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, 18575 Corwin Road, Apple Valley, California, 92307. And of course, our web address is www.hdscsl.org. www.high-desertcsl.org, right? And so let's do our affirmative affirmation together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And of course, I always say, I bless this gift in faith, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Judy just texted me to say, are we back on? Yes, we are back. Yes, we are back. But only for a few minutes. Only for a few more minutes. Won't play any Colbert next week. Although I really like Colbert, but I won't play any Colbert next week. Janet said, thank you for the healing message. Love it, beautiful, and so helpful. I am so glad. So, well, we worked out some of the bugs this week. We worked out how to do it. We worked out, hopefully next week we'll have more people on with us. We will be doing, if you're in my Wednesday evening, by the way, Judy and Frank are at the center right now. They're right outside those doors. And they are there if you have a question or if you want to bring a tithe over. So you can go to the center now and drop off a tithe, or of course you can mail it in. And please don't forget to support us, because our mission of transforming lives through the teaching of the science of mind can only happen if we're able to perpetuate our center. And so don't give up on what we do because of what we need to do right now to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to sing us out a little bit here. All is all, there it is. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Turn that microphone down a little bit because I think I'm singing too loud for you guys. Let's see. Okay. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. I know that the infinite indwelling Spirit blesses and protects you. I know that Spirit is kind and gracious through you. And I know that Spirit shines its light upon you and gives you and is your peace. And so it is. Amen. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. Don't forget that you can always text prayer work to me or any of the practitioners. We share them with each other all week long. We love to do our prayer work with you and for you. Eleanor says, I'll be at the center tomorrow morning and can accept tithes then. Also, the sanctuary will be open for anyone who wants to come in for a short period of time for peace and prayer. Okay, thank you, Eleanor, for letting me know that. I appreciate that. And Steve said, I'm glad that Reverend Doug is feeling well, and I'm grateful for Reverend Doug, and I'm grateful for you too, Steve. And I hope this service meant something to you guys. We're going to continue. I may do a couple of more healing services throughout the course of the week, but I will let you know through our telephone tree. If you know anybody in our spiritual family who is not getting our calls, please make sure that you either get their number and send it to me, or direct them to send me their number so that we can all stay in touch. Don't you like the call 'em all system? I think it's going to actually help us, even when this pandemic thing is over, to stay much closer in touch with each other and to be even a closer spiritual community. So I love that. And let's do a closing treatment. I think I feel called to treat one more time before we go out with Daniel Nahmad. Here we go. So sitting back into this knowing that all is well, and reminding ourselves that there is only God. There is absolutely nothing else but God. I believe in God and absolutely nothing else. I simply bless our Sunday. I bless our day. I know that community is something that not only happens when we are together, but that we carry the sense of love and community within us each and every moment of the day. I know that our spiritual family is strong with the health of the divine, spiritual well-being, physical wellness. I bless us all. I bless our day. I bless our center, the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that this time is a time that we grow rather than shrink. This time is a time that we affirm rather than negate. This is a time of faith rather than fear. And we know that all is well. And so in gratitude, I release this word into that loving law. I release this word into the action of that law, knowing that everything is in its divine perfection. I let it be and I let it go, as together we say, and so it is. Have a great week, everybody. I love you. I honor you. Reach out to me and let me know anything else that I need to know from you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. Make me feel so good. I can do most anything. I am loving everything.